It's Tuesday. You know what that means. That's right. IndyCars are back. Whoa. Little slide out there coming out of the pits. It's IndyCar night on iRacing. Hello again, everybody. I am Gary Gotza, along with the RACEWEAR coverage of, well, I guess it's round 8 or 9. This is round 8, I think, of season 1 of the 2024 IndyCar Oval Series for the Tuesday night top split, coming to you from Dover, the high banks of Dover, the high concrete banks of Dover. And I know everything's going to be really fast tonight. We're watching these times click in. And this is our first broadcast as this team's ever done this. Last time we were here was the boss man, Matt Houston, in the booth with you, Steven. But now we got Justin joining us in my first race here. But to date, USAC and IndyCar have only visited Dover 3 times, if you can believe it. Yes, they have been here. The first time was in '69. Bobby Unser sat on the pole with a speed of 155.259. In the race, Unser's car only lasted 3 laps. That is a going train, folks. And he finished dead last. The winner was Art Pollard, powered by a Plymouth engine of all types of engines. The victory was the first for Plymouth, while Pollard backed up a win he had earlier in the season at Milwaukee for his second of 2 career wins here. Only 2 cars of the 22-car field finished on the lead lap, with Gordon Johncock joining Pollard as the only 2 who completed the distance. IndyCar returned in 1998 and 1999. The track record's held by Mark Dismore, kind of a career IRL guy there, with a speed of 182.639 miles per hour. Career wins leaders here at Dover are Scott Sharp, Greg Ray, also joining Art Pollard with 1 win apiece. Each IndyCar race at Dover, attrition was king. 10 of 22 finished in 69 and 98, while 13 of 23 were left running in 99. So, like the Netflix show, it's Drive to Survive here. Guys, let's get your impressions as we're watching qualifications. About minutes 50 left to play. Benedetti on the pole to the provisional speed of 202.412 miles per hour. From a NASCAR point of view, what's it like to see Indy cars going around this place, Justin?
Yes. Just yet. I'll just put it simple. The difference between a stock car and an Indy car here, with the Indy car, I've run private test laps here, and all I'm going to say is this: sit down, strap in, and hold on, and hope to God you don't thunderfoot it by accident on the start or restart, because the moment you do, especially coming off of turn 4, you will immediately whip the car around and cause a course blocker, so to say.
Well, Steven,
but the difference, at least in this one, though, you can actually, the difference between this, though, between the stock car and the Indy car here, you can get a little bit more spread out in the stock car, but once the field starts thinning out here in the Indy car, you can definitely see some huge gaps between the other drivers on track.
Okay, well, Steven, you actually got a chance to strap in here and participate in the practice session leading up to the 7:15 split. You actually had one of the faster laps at a 2:04. Shadid now on the pole with a usually 2:03.452. What's it like out there, man? What's the setup going to bring us?
Well, it's not what I expected. I'll say that much about it. A lot of people would expect running here at Dover. It kind of feels like one of those velodromes in a lot of ways, like you see in those high-speed bicycle races that are not like the Tour de France or something. But this kind of track is all about like normally you can put your foot down and go all the way around it flat out, no problem. But when you get up with another car here, the setup is encouraging, once again, being able to find the clean air, and that can be a bit trickier here at Dover, but if you can get it right, you are going to be getting some good slingshot runs off the corners, perhaps. It'll keep the field possibly tighter than you may expect. So I would imagine not only going to be in for good racing, but also maybe a bit of chaos as well, because it is incredibly easy coming off those 24-degree banks to go into the wall on the exit of the corner there. You have got to be very careful, but also daring in the process.
All right, let's get into it.
I wasn't going to say more like a velodrome. It was going to be more like a board track.
Yeah, I'd probably agree there.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it, guys. It's we're going to have a really quick pace lap here, so let's get this starting lineup out of the way so we can call this action green. Turning it back over to you, Stephen Larkamp.
On the pole, Trey Shadid. What a surprise in qualifying, but he puts that number 4 machine on the pole position. Let's see if he can keep it there and not follow the trend of the real-world traditions here at Dover when it comes to pole sitters. Alongside him will be Jason Brophy, though, so he is definitely going to be putting up a fight for sure. And then back to row number 2, Nicholas Sudik in the number 7 will be starting third. He'll be alongside Shadid's teammate Mark Murphy in the number 5, who we had to sit down with before, as is tradition now in this series. Jacob Oster will be running the number 1 here tonight. He'll be starting 5th. Tiago Benedetti in the 23 machine will start 6th. Adriano Forporti's number 13 machine will be rolling off 7th alongside the 8 of Wes Wheatman in position number 8. Urim Rubens' number 18 will start 9th. He'll be alongside Stephen Lee's number 14, rounding out the top 10. Carlos Washington in the number 20 will be starting 11th. He'll be alongside our friend Antonio Estrada's number 16. Nick Neben returning back to the broadcast. He will be starting 13th in the number 11. He'll be alongside Elijah Gilson in the 21. Eric Troiano in the number 9 will start 15th alongside Matt Hollabaw's number 6. Then Seb Alexander and Richard Vasquez make up row 9, 7 to 10. Richard in the 22. Avery Schwalm will be running his number 15 machine out of 19th place. He'll be alongside Jackson Lewis in the number 2, rounding out the top 20, I should say. And he is the last to drive his supposed qualifying time as well, because going back, Rafael Eckert will start 21st. Bruno Romanzini will be starting 22nd. Then Julian Altena, Nielsen Messias, who had a great run in Vegas last time out. And then rounding out shotgun in the field, Marcel Gagne in the 25. 25 cars here in the top split. Now 3 splits here in this run here tonight, even on this utterly chaotic, historically chaotic track when it comes to IndyCar competition that is Dover. We still got a pretty good turnout here tonight. Let's see who can survive this, because it is so easy to get things wrong here at Dover, even though it may not look like it at a glance.
So here we go. Eyes on our pole sitter, Trey Shadid, going to bring this field down to green. And he's off. And I would imagine everybody in these first couple of rows want to get a good head on, because they don't want to get caught in that mid-pack. Call it, Stephen Larkamp.
It did, with a massive jump at the start. Green flag flies for 100 laps here. And Nick Sudik already getting by Jason Brophy. Brophy getting hung out to dry on the high side there as Jacob Oster looking to take advantage down to the inside into turn 3. Still wheel to wheel for third place, but it's going to be Trey Shadid leading that first lap. I'm looking at Mark Murphy behind with Tiago Benedetti fighting it out for the top 5 positions there, but it's Shadid, Sudik, and Brophy. Brophy holding off Jacob Oster for now. Oh, very close there from Mark Murphy as he's trying to get a run there off the corner on Benedetti. Starting to get a little bit spread.
I'm actually surprised. For once, I'm actually surprised there was a clean start, because, as is the case in the past, there have always been at least 1 or 2 guys that have thunderfooted on the start and caused chaos.
Speaking of thunderfooting, looking at Nick Sadiq now to the low side of Trey Shadid. He's going to take the lead. Beautiful drive so far by Sadiq, but Brophy looking to follow suit on the low side. Still wheel to wheel. Brophy gets it.
Is there any benefit to the high side here, guys, in these cars?
I would imagine yes. It is. This track is going to eat up tires. When I was out practicing, I saw a bunch of guys later on in their runs. They were losing a lot of time to the guys behind them. So I would imagine tires are going to be one of the big factors why someone's going to be up on the high side. I think that was Benedetti I saw getting very comfortable to the wall in turn number 2.
Yeah, I think that was Benedetti.
Brophy to the point now as he gets by Sadiq. Sadiq trying to get him back on the low side, though. These two going back and forth here. Pretty early to be doing that, but I would imagine this is one of the best times to be picking up positions here, especially with tire wear being the factor that it is. Brophy once again looking to the low side. Woo, Sadiq gets way up close to the turn 4 wall.
Yeah, the high line can be a benefit here. You just got to make sure that if you are on the low line, you have to give room to. You have to give room to the other guy up that's on the outside of you, because if you somehow hit the bump coming off of the corners wrong way, you can upset the balance of the car and it'll shoot you straight up into the wall, taking the guy that's on your outside with you and possibly causing a big one. What that word possibly.
Yeah, and that is, again, as we emphasize, it's so easy to do, especially since this is a 1-mile track. The average lap speed for the pole sitters, well in excess of 200 miles per hour. There is no margin for error here. There rarely is an IndyCar competition, but it's just that little bit less so here at Dover as Sadiq and Brophy going back and forth once again for the lead as Sadiq takes the point this time.
Yeah, definitely some good action up here in the front between Sadiq, Trace Shadid, and Brophy. Brophy, another veteran, of course, of the NASCAR iRacing Fix Series from back in the day. He knows his way around this place, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him probably pull out some old tricks of his from the NIS days up into the IndyCar here. But of course, I guarantee you, after this race, these guys are going to be they're going to be dizzy, but not as dizzy like what they were in Atlanta. Heck, even Texas from 2001.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing, especially since the virtual world can be a bit more forgiving than the real world is. I could just imagine what it would be like driving these things at this kind of speed around Dover today. That is going to be, I think that's going to be something else in of itself.
Hey, at least it's not Bristol.
This is true. This is very true. It's literally double the size of Bristol, so you have that to work with. And we definitely have some memories of Week 13 where it was fun for that week when the Indy cars raced at Bristol on iRacing when Week 13 came around. Yes, that was a thing way back when. But in the day-to-day, when there's iRating on the line here and people taking it seriously, I don't think that would be too terribly popular.
No, it wouldn't. But anyways, let's get back to the action on track.
Indeed.
These drivers, we're watching Nick Neben, who was in a battle for position there. These drivers are actually not that far away from encountering lapped traffic. These leaders, actually, they're about 5 seconds away from getting to the back part of this field. So will lap traffic be an issue? I am surprised we have gone clean and green for as long as we have, 15 of 100. And if we stay green the entire time, guys, it's going to be a really quick race, first of all. And second of all, basically stop at lap 50 and you're done.
Pretty much. We're expecting about 60 laps on the fuel mileage here today. It's going to be a one-stop race no matter how you slice it. And that fuel window, it may be 20 laps, but it's a pretty narrow margin time-wise in a lot of ways because these lap times are clicking off around the 18.5-second mark for the leaders. So this is going to be a pretty quick affair if we go green all the way. And I'm going to be curious to see. Almost had an incident back there.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, but it's going to be curious to see, especially if the green flag sticks out for very long, if green flag pit stops are going to be a thing, especially since, as we talked about before the program started, the pit road speed limit here at this track, 35 miles per hour. Coming down here from 200, that is
we got a car coming on the pit road right now.
Yeah, speak of the devil,
Yeah,
I see.
I think these guys are starting to burn their tires up a little bit more than they expected to.
That's
so we
Troiano.
might see guys start taking pit stops early.
Eric Troiano on the pit road here. A bad start for him. I'm not sure if he might have damage on that number 9 machine coming on the pit road here. But a very unfortunate start so far for Troiano because a green flag pit stop here, especially if there are cautions down the line, that is an absolute death sentence for a good result.
Brophy now moving out to about a half-second lead over Sadiq. Sadiq about a second lead over Shadid. So actually now we're starting to get kind of spread out here a little bit. And we actually did talk about that in the pre-race where we thought that after a while the tires are going to give out and aero push was going to be a big thing here. Hollenball, taking a look here, he's involved in a hell of a bee, a hell of a hive of bees back here for, let's see, a 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. Led by Adriano Faporti here, who has fallen back a little bit through the field, down 4 spots.
And Hollenball trying to put the pressure on Elijah Gilson there for 12th position. And I'm looking behind him, Urim Rubens is in particular. He had a great running last time out at Las Vegas before we realized the field strategy wasn't going to work out.
Yeah, just a bad strategy.
Yeah, but definitely a good run for him. Ooh, that was Gilson getting very close to the wall there as Hollenball to the inside takes advantage of that. Still wheel to wheel, but Gilson will likely get a run on the high line here. Yes, he does, and he maintains the spot going into turn number 1.
But here comes Urims now.
These guys here in this beehive of Nestor. Ooh. Hollenball is definitely trying to find that clean air because when you come up of the corner getting behind another guy, that dirty air gets really, really bad enough to where you basically getting understeer and you can't find clean air to try and get by the guy up ahead of you.
Exactly. And And it doesn't help that the transitions can be pretty abrupt. You're going from 24 degrees in the corners to 9 degrees on the straightaways, and the bumps coming off of there can be very abrupt. It can throw you around, and Hollenbaugh losing a spot to your Rubens. Look at Rubens on the high side there, getting around Jolson.
I showed a wheel that was out of place there, but it snapped back in. Little net code contact, but whoa. Contact.
Jackson Lewis and Matt Hollenbaugh in a collision there. Caution is out. Lap 27.
Get a brake on it. Oh,
Man.
These self-cleansing banks of Dover, Delaware here. Got cars coming to a complete stop on the front stretch. In fact, here's your leader, Brophy, right behind last place on the lead lap, Romanzini. So that's how fast you get around this place when you have to really, really slow it down. So now we're 28 of 100, and you could stop, but you still have to stop again. So, gentlemen, What is it? What's the strategy? To further back, maybe stop, get those new tires, and hope for a little attrition in front of you? Leaders stay out?
I would not be shocked if they come in for tires at this point. The fall off on the tires was quite substantial as I'm looking at Brophy going down the apron here. Yeah, that fall off was definitely pretty substantial. I'm not shocked that the leaders are coming on here.
I'm going to echo what Stevie said.
And just to give an idea of the kind of fall off I'm talking about here, Jason Brophy, our leader, his fast lap was lap number 2, 18.80.082 seconds. And on the last lap before the caution came out, everything got welled up, lap 26, 18.616. That's half a second lost over the course of a quarter of a race distance. I'm not shocked these guys are coming in for tires. And I'm hearing Julian Altena on the radio, not happy with someone around him.
Well, let's go take a look if we can track down Julian. Oh, he's up a P2 here.
He got hit.
Yeah, Julian is missing or has a floppy rear wing. And did that happen under caution, maybe? Let's go back in the Wayback Machine and look here.
It did. It was like right next to the rears. And I believe it was Eric Troiano. It was Eric Troiano in the number 9 that made contact.
We got time to track this down, see what happened. Gonna speed it up here. And it's one of those things that everything happens so fast in front of you here.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes Troiano. We'll watch this. Oh! Wow. He just kind of ran him over.
He did, and in a very strange way, too. I believe there was a bit of netcode involved there, but either way, that was getting run over there, and it's not shocked to me that Altena is not happy about that, as he comes on the pit road and tumbles down the order with no rear wing on his car.
All right, guys. Well,
I wouldn't be surprised if he got damage in that right rear suspension as well.
For sure. We still have lights on the pace car. We have a new leader right now. Carlos Washington stayed out. He is now going to assume the lead, it looks like. That's what I'm getting from all my timing and scoring, so that seems accurate. Seb Alexander, something happened with him. I think maybe with involved in maybe having to slow down or something on that yellow so much that now he's a lap behind and he's caught behind the leader, so he's not going to get the wave around. There's Troiano there on the low side. He might be trying to come to pit road. We'll see. But there's Brophy. P2, there's Troiano going to pit road. P2 Brophy, and he is, one car removed from direct contact with the leader. So this is going to be interesting. We got used tires, 30-lap-old tires up front, and everybody on freshies behind them.
Yeah, and I hate to say it. I'm just going to say it right now. Yard sale.
Yeah. Lights out on the pace car, so Carlos Washington is going to stay out and take the field to the green flag here on the end of lap 31. I'm definitely a little surprised to see this. I definitely get the gambit for track position, especially in the circumstance here, but I'm expecting Washington to be just blown to the wayside by these fast runners behind him, Brophy, Sadiq, and Shadid on their fresh tires. This is going to be interesting to see how this dynamic plays out here, and if Washington can indeed make up any sort of track position and maybe bank on another yellow. He qualified 11th, so it's going to be curious to me if this is going to pay off for him.
Yeah, he made it to the top half of the field, so he should have an idea of what he's getting himself into here. Brophy given a little bit of space between himself and Alexander. Alexander now on the attenuator of Washington. Washington leading the pace car into the pits. Field is now under his control, bringing them down very, very slowly. Going to have some antsy people in the field. Green flag in the air. He is off. He gets a good margin over Seb Alexander there, who is the first car one lap down. And that now we see Brophy look on the high side of Alexander in that IAR car and cut down and under, that IAR car getting the position. So now we have our main two leaders in direct contact.
Brophy wasted no time at all on that one. I'm looking at Nick Sudik making a run on Seb Alexander now, but Brophy gets himself a bit of clean air now. He's trying to run down Carlos Washington. Let's see if Washington can hold on here. And looking behind him, look at this scrum here as Sadiq, Shadid, and Oster all getting around this lap car here. Starting to, and good on Seb Alexander trying to stay up on the high side here. He knows the situation well enough. So everyone else staying in contact with each other there. And one thing I noticed last time was when Shadid ran away at the start of the race, he got caught back up pretty quickly here. I believe Shadid was trying to save tires early on in the going here. So we'll see if that's the case here. Obviously, Carlos Washington, he's got nothing to lose at this point. He's put his foot down. And Brophy looking to do the same, trying to use Washington to pull away from Sadiq.
Eckert slicing through the field now in contact with his countrymen there for 40. Battle for 11th.
And once again, this mid-pack battle here still putting on a great show as Eckert and Fraporti. Eckert to the low side there. Gets the pass made at the moment. Can Fraporti respond? He's not quite alongside him just yet. Avery Schwalm in the 15 looking to be the interested spectator.
Yeah, Schwalm in that livery that used to be driven by Seb Bourdais.
Yeah, Sebastian Bourdais. I always like that livery personally.
Yeah,
good to see it. Good to see it sticking around. And once again, looking at the low side, that's Elijah Gilson, who came very, very close to catastrophe in that incident there. Oh.
A little too close for comfort, I'd say.
I think I saw Antonio Estrada clep the wall there coming off of turn number 2. If he didn't, it was very close. He's battling with Tiago Benedetti for P7. As Estrada clears him on the high side there. It looked like he clapped the wall a little bit. May have been a bit of netcode involved, but now Benedetti falling into the clutches of Wes Wheatman's number 8. Working lap number 40. Benedetti still holding on to that position. This is the battle for 8th I'm looking at right now. But Carlos Washington still holding on to the race lead. I'm impressed so far with this run here. I would have thought that Washington would have had tire fall off be a big factor to him, but the clean air seems to be counteracting that in a way.
But he has a lapped car right in front of him. It's going to be damaged there. There's Hollenball going high, leading him on by, and Brophy as well. So the next car is about 5 seconds up the road. That's Troiano. So he's going to have lots of clean racetrack before he gets there. 43 of 100 now. So they're just clicking on by, and staying out might be the game plan to keep that track position, because you still have to stop. Everyone else has to stop, and if this goes green the entire time, Washington stops. He's done for the race. Everyone else has to, go much longer and stop, in the later stages.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm pretty skeptical that they're all going to be able to make it on fuel from here. I don't think they were close to the fuel window unless you basically put it in a map 8 like you would under caution the whole way. And obviously nobody's going to be doing that. No one in their right mind would.
And we have an unhappy Julian Altena in chat.
dear.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Julian. That was getting run over is not fun. That was kind of an IRL move, if you ask me. But it happens, unfortunately. Sorry to see you out so soon. But thanks for everyone who's joining us. This is the Tuesday night IndyCar Oval Series top split for Tuesday night, 7:15. And thanks for joining us. Smash the like button there for us. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Click the bell. Got a lot more IndyCar racing coming up on Race First later this week, including the Indy Open Series and also the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series DW12 Championship. That's all later this week here on Race First.
We also can't forget one other thing starting next month.
That's the IndyCar Tour.
The IIT. The IIT. Yes, it's the iRacing IndyCar Tour, no longer called the IIS. Oh, Carlos into the wall a little bit. He had to roll out of it. We were watching and riding along board, so his tires are 49, now 48 laps old. They are pretty well spent, and I'm sure Brophy saw that developing in front of him and is seeing a little blood in the water, but giving him plenty of room just in case something happens, because remember, these are self-cleaning banks here at Dover, meaning what goes up definitely comes down.
Yeah, and Brophy's seeing that situation with Carlos Washington. As Sudik almost claps the wall there off of turn number 2. This is kind of the thing we were talking about here with tire wear, especially the understeer that it can generate and especially with the help of a car in front. And right now, Carlos Washington, for the first time in the stint, he's got cars in front of him. That's Seb Alexander, a couple of lap cars in the way here, and this he is not liking this situation one bit, and he knows that Jason Brophy's seeing all this, and Brophy sitting there methodically clicking off laps. He is close to within 0.6, gained a whole 0.3 of a second on that last lap.
Yep, and he's got a pit stop coming up. We don't know exactly when here, but we've only had that one bit of caution. We were expecting about 50 to 60 laps on the first stint on green flag. So we are getting in that window for Washington to come down pit road to make his one and only stop. And it'll be good for him if they stay yellow or caution free. But that remains to be seen, and we're riding along with him right now on his roll cage, and we can just hear him rolling out of the throttle now. He has a handful, and here comes Brophy, and this might be a good time for Washington to say, you know what, I'm going to pit.
Yeah, it's getting close to decision time here, but the thing with the whole situation as well is that if he comes in and a caution were to come out, especially with everyone getting as chippy as they are in the mid-pack, that's going to be again a death sentence for Carlos Washington's overall result here, as Brophy still holding it wheel to wheel, not quite getting the pass done yet. Very close to the wall once again for Carlos Washington, and Nick Sadiq has been dragged into the fray as well, with 3 lap cars holding them up here.
Yeah, Dirty Air is definitely going to be playing a factor here with the leaders and those
Washington. Washington
rolled out of the throttle there big time. He lost both first and second place in about the time it takes to say it.
Saying hello to the front row observers there.
Indeed, and there was a lot of participants in that one, and not exactly the people that were fighting for those top spots. But Jason Brophy retakes the race lead with Nick Sadiq right in his wheel tracks, and Washington now loses a spot to Jacob Oster, who's moved up into the podium positions, and Trey Shadid is going to be knocking on the door next.
Yeah, I would pit. You're in the window. You can make it to the end. I would pit. And you're short filling, too. Here comes Mark Murphy. I would pit.
I think he's also got a little bit of damage, because I think he scraped that wall going into turn 1 a couple laps ago.
Oh, Seb Alexander playing along with there is no cushion here, Seb. This is not dirt track racing.
Yeah, we are definitely not at we're not at Georgetown Speedway, just down to the south here in southern Delaware, and that's also something Tiago Benedetti's found out as well. There is no right front wing on that number 23 machine. He is dropping back to the positions.
We have a
one. He's going to have to pit.
Yep, he's going to definitely have to pit. I'm sure this car is a handful to handle. Even with the banking and with what downforce he has, he might not see it. We'll see. Okay, there is Washington making a stop right here at lap 61. So he is done, and Washington's missing a wing.
Washington is missing a right front wing. What happened to him? What happened to him here?
Like I said, I think when he bounced off the wall going into turn one.
So I'm having a look here. I think he may have caught the wall coming onto pit road.
Oh no!
Yeah, because his car looked fine there, and we got another one coming in too. That's Tiago Benedetti, who was driving around without a right front wing on his car for a couple of laps now.
The bad news is they got to get a new wing. The good news is, when they're done, this is their last stop if they're good to go to the finish. If the car is capable of getting to the finish. Here we got Brophy now looking on the backside of Richard Vasquez, now passing Vasquez, and that Tony Stewart threw. But of course, that is the paint job that Tony Stewart used when he did race here. Of course, in the very first IndyCar race here, that was they held. Stewart was, I believe, it was on the pole for that one, but it was so bumpy here, even though they did use the diamond grinder to grind down the bumps here, that before they had all of the readouts on the wheels and everything, they had a readout on the dash that was behind the wheel. That part of the dash completely fell down, and it was sitting on Tony's lap for much of the race because it was so bumpy that it couldn't stick back in. The screws came loose and everything, and it dropped to his lap. So imagine that.
Yeah, that's another little way that Miles the Monster, the mascot here at Dover Speedway, gets his fill. And he's gotten a little bit of it so far today, and hopefully his appetite is satiated. But I've been hearing on the radio that a lot of guys are not too happy with the way they've been driving around each other. This track can definitely bring a lot of chaos. And Carlos Washington, sadly, appears to be out of the race. He has disconnected.
So watching Mark Murphy now racing his teammate. Remember, fellas, what is rule 1 about racing your teammate?
Don't wreck your teammate.
What is rule 2 of racing your teammate?
See rule 1.
There you go. So they negotiated that rule set pretty good. Move Mark Murphy up to 4th. Trace Shadid, our pole sitter, back to 5th. We did have the camera momentarily on Julian Altinda in 22nd. He is back on the racetrack, back in the battle, but his war might be pretty much done at this point. Further on back in the field, there is Jacob Oster in P3. He is, and then right behind him is Murphy. A little bit further ahead of Oster, who has lap traffic in front of him, there is Nick Sudik, who has been in the top 3 all race long. And I'm looking forward, if he can finish this way, to get on the podium and having him in the booth, because I'm sure he is going to have himself a great post-race report interview to give you guys. Further on back, Trace Shadid in a battle now with Rafi Eckert. Rafi Eckert won the DW12 IndyCar race for the DOVER Series Sunday morning at Texas. He's back with us in the IR18. On the high banks here at Dover, move him up to 5th, up 16 spots for Rafi.
Good run so far for Rafael Eckert. He's definitely one of those guys that can pull one of these great charges out of his hat, and he's putting on a fine show today. Kind of quiet one, but sometimes that's all you need here, especially at a place like Dover where chaos can reign supreme, even if there aren't too many wrecks. And Woo came again very close to the wall there. I think that's kind of par for the course on why am I getting all scared about that? Because, well, it's all a matter of even fractions of an inch that these guys are running right up to the wall here at 200 miles an hour. It's so easy to go from a good run to having your day completely ruined.
Yeah, and there's zero room for error on corner exit here, guys, isn't it?
There is no margin. Absolutely none.
And on top of that, with a number of the guys that are having pretty solid runs right here, I'm going to use the stick and ball sports terminology. Most of these guys are just flying under the radar, picking their way through the field.
Yes, they are, and in a lot of ways, that's what you ought to do, is that don't make too much of a fuss of it, but pick off the spots where you can, and maybe a little bit of clever strategery to move up through the positions. And I think that's what Rafi Eckert's been doing this whole time.
We think everyone still has a stop now, and looking in chat there, Jesper Orman says that Brophy is definitely doing some fuel saving, and maybe so. Will he be able to extend this last stint to the checkered? Remains to be seen, but if anyone could do it, it's the private label guys. They are one of the more prestigious, bigger teams in the internet iRacing community. So he is now getting the low side there underneath. I'm not sure who that was, but he's got the position.
That was Benedetti that he got by there, and And I think also if Brophy is saving, which I have no doubt he is, I believe Sadiq and Ulster are saving as well. Lap time wise, they are running in the high 18s, low 19-second lap time range. That's about a full second off the pole time. So these guys are putting in a different fuel map setting and trying to stretch it out as long as humanly possible. And just get as little fuel in the car as you can, fresh tires, and just sprint to the end. And maybe even bank for a yellow later on in the going here as the tires die off.
There's your last lap report on the tree right now. Brophy last time by 194.4, Sadiq 194.6, Oster 191.8, Murphy 195.3, Eckert a 196.7. So Eckert, the man on the move. And he's right there on the backside of Murphy. So we got a battle brewing here, folks.
Indeed he is. Eckert was about 4/10 up on Murphy on that last lap there, but now he's coming on the pit road. So
slow down,
going for it, but one of the first ones to come in.
Yeah, so this is his last stop. Did he get down? Did he get down?
Did he get down on the pit road in time? Yes, he did. He did not get a speeding penalty. Down to 35 miles an hour. He locked up both front tires to do that.
Is painfully slow.
It is absolutely insane there, but I mean, at least in the tires case, he doesn't need them anymore anyway. He'll get fresh ones. But this is really the moment where the strategies start to unravel in some ways if they were banking on a yellow. But let's see what... especially, I can imagine the undercut here is going to be substantial. I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye out on Eckert as he comes off a pit road here. You got to be very careful, though, coming out of pit lane, though.
For the lead here, Sadiq made up a bunch of time on Brophy and has run him down. Let's bring back the intervals of what we got here. Brought it down now to 1/10 of a second, and he's right there on the attenuator of that green private label Dallara.
Yeah, you don't need us to tell you the time. He's right there. Sadiq looking for any sort of opportunity he can here. And once again, these guys are trying to save as much as they can. But I'm guessing if they saw Eckert come on the pit road there, they're starting to realize, maybe start to get into it. Into the thick of it.
Exactly. Do want to give a shout out to our largest gainer of the day. Put the camera on Messias, Nelson Messias right there. And where are you seeing some action that we need to look at?
I was looking at Eckert just sort of dodging and weaving around all the lap cars here. He's currently scored 2 laps down here, but if they stay green, these are going to be absolutely crucial passes. He's just breezing by them.
Look at him blow by Oster.
It's like a prototype against GT cars at the moment at
the
Le Mans.
last lap there for 201. He's the only car in the 200-mile-per-hour bracket. He is just burning it up out there.
He set his best lap of the race last time by exactly when he needs it. He is going full bore right now.
Passes 2 cars in the main straight, 1 car into the wall, bounces off it. We have Mark Murphy coming off of pit road for his final stop.
These are going to be absolutely crucial right now. I'm looking right now at Brophy and Sadiq. We're on lap 88. Can they make it? I'm sure they've been on fuel save mode this entire time.
Yeah, let's take a look at their last laps. I just removed that at 194.1 for their last laps on by 193.6 or 193.9, excuse me, for Sadiq. Sadiq not leaving the draft and tire tracks of Brophy, so he is shooting for making this stint as long as possible. There's Roman Zini allowing the cars on high. That's one of the, who was that, Urum's?
Urim Rubens. I think Rubens is actually out of this race.
Okay.
He's been out for a little while, unfortunately. Sad to see that after his run last time out of Las Vegas.
That's Messias. That's who we gave the shout out for. All those team cars are like Messias up to P8. So now we got Brophy lapping inside the top 10. 10 laps to go.
Yeah, we're getting down to only 8 cars and 7 cars now on the lead lap. Make it 6 now as he gets around Wes Weidman. So these guys definitely... Brophy's just signaled he's coming in. Brophy is going to be pitting this time, so... And I imagine Sadiq is not going to be too far behind there.
Ooh, here we go. Come down off that bank. So dangerous on that banking at speed.
Such an abrupt transition. Whoa! That was close as well. But Porty was coming on the pit road as well, so came dangerously close to hitting the wall there. That is just how close how close it is to disaster there for Jason Brophy, but he manages to get it down there just fine. 35-mile-an-hour pit speed limit. How crazy is that?
Go. Does Nick Sadiq have 7 miles left in his tank?
Sadiq is...
And Stephen Lee's going to try it, too, I think. Stephen Lee, nope. Here comes Sadiq. So this is going to turn the lead over to Stephen Lee.
And Lee now running up on the high line here. I'm going to be very curious to see if he can pull something.
He was really rolling out of it, guys, and he's in 6th gear. I would imagine he's trying to do maximum fuel save now.
Yeah,
he's on the high
gear,
side.
Map 5, I have no doubt.
He's in 6th gear, map 5, high side there, letting people just pass him. These positions don't matter. He's going to go to try to stretch it. 6 laps to go. Messias is going to try it too. Messias is right there. He has not stopped.
He has not, as Sadiq gets himself down and away off a pit road here. Where is Rafael Eckert right now? That's the guy I'm keeping an eye on right now. He's in P7 at the moment.
Well, look at Lee, just leading all these cars on by, just letting them on by. 5 to go.
Stephen Lee ran a 22nd lap the last time by. That is insanely slow. About a second and a half off the fast guys.
And another 179.3.
He's trying to pull an Alexander Rossi on us.
I was about to say that, Stevie.
Yep, and it's not going to be enough. Stephen Lee coming on the pit road. A valiant effort for sure. And Nielsen Messias staying out. He's staying out for one more. 3 laps to go.
Listen to this engine. Listen to this engine. We're riding on him.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
If this ain't pulling everything out to save just a fuel drop and 2 drops of fuel.
178.8.
2 laps to go. Nielsen Messias and Jacob Oster also following suit on this. He is going insanely slow as well, running a 21 last time by.
Does he have another lap and a half full of fuel in this tank? Messias up 23 spots. Last week, the fuel strategy didn't work out for this team. This week, it might. White flag in the air. 1 more mile to go. Does he have the necessary 1/10 of a gallon just to bring this thing home?
Nielsen Messias trying to pull an upset win here. He's letting more people go by. He knows they do not matter. Can he do it? It looks like it's going to be it. Off of 3 and 4. Nielsen Messias on fumes. Wins at Dover.
Lap run on fuel. 70 lap run on fuel. Out freaking standing.
Bravissimo. Nielsen Messias. Jacob Oster as well in 2nd place. 1 second behind him. He finishes 2nd. Jason Brophy in 3rd place. After all of that, he got by Eckert on the last few laps. What a finish. And an upset winner. And even now, Messias looks like he's going to try and do some burnouts here. How long? How much fuel is he going to have here to burn it down? I'm genuinely curious here. No fuel, says Nielsen Messias. Oh my goodness. 0.1 in the tank. I'm not sure if that's gallons or liters. It does not matter to me. That is unbelievable. Beautiful job.
Well, I guess he now
Messias
has earned the name Gas Man because Nielsen Messias was your maximum conservation driver out there. Gets the win on just fumes over Jacob Oster, who was on the same strategy. So close. We're going to talk to Jacob here. I don't know if Messias is in the chat, but I know Oster will be. Brophy will be. We'll talk with them. Eckert, great run for him. P4. Weedman. We've been watching him come up through the standings pretty much all season long since we started broadcasting. P5, Mark Murphy, P6, Neiman, P7. We're going to watch his stream. I'm sure he's pretty happy about that. Nick Sadiq, I'm not sure Nick's so happy about that 8th, because who really thought that Dover would have turned into a fuel race? Trace Shedid, your pulls at 9th. Antonio Estrada backs up last week's podium with another top 10. I'd say that's pretty good. For 11th, Roman Zini 12th, who came from dead last on the grid. Elijah Gilson, 13th. Stephen Lee tried to do the economy run, got close, but not close enough. 14th. Marcel Gagne, 15th. Let's move on to the rest here. Big field, guys. Vasquez, Benedetti, Alexander, Troiano, Altena, your top 20. Schwalm, Hollenball, Washington, Rubens, and Lewis round out the remainder of this 25-car field. Woo!
I don't know what to say. My gut instinct was telling me that it was probably going to be a bit of a wreck fest, especially on the start or a restart.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and we've seen a lot of people post their videos of the Monday races already in various forums and Discord servers, and it has been a crash fest up until today, where we only had, I believe, just that one caution that took out those 3 drivers or so, and then maybe caught up a couple others that got them a lap down or so, unfortunately. But that was it. It was clean and green from that point on.
Amazing. And that just goes to show, like, even under pretty adverse situations, these guys put on a fantastic show, and they can keep it clean as well. This is why these guys are some of the best, not just in the IndyCar community, but on the iRacing service as well. Because it may not, and they make it look easy, is the thing. It looks easy. I guarantee you it ain't. As a guy who was just out there trying it for myself.
All right. Jason Brophy's in the waiting room. We're going to bring him on up. Jason, who would have thought that Dover turned into a fuel race?
I knew it was from the start, but you just don't expect it to go green the whole way.
No, you don't.
No, we didn't.
I was kind of caught off guard, but I knew the game I was playing. I knew the question for me was I going to take tires when I pit, and I decided yes, because I was collapsing. There was 16% left on the right front when I pit.
Oh my goodness!
We knew. It was just I didn't expect everybody to make it into pit road safely. So good job, everybody. Myself included. So I kind of figured there'd be a caution, had to run it long. So still salvaged a third out of it. I'll take it. I think playing the fuel game isn't as much fun for me in this. I'd rather push there. If it had been a couple laps shorter, I probably would have gone. But oh well, a lot of fun. The racing's fun. It's a bit, interesting going through traffic. I think I went to the outside of someone and saw they had a corded right front as I was going to their outside there with 20 to go. That was exciting. As they didn't have a right front tire left, and
Ouch.
I'm on their outside now. Coming off 4, I think I pretty much died, and I don't know how I didn't catch the wall.
Yeah, totally stress-free situation there, you'd say.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Definitely safe. Definitely exactly what I wanted to see as I go to the top, because you can make a lot of time up top, but it does kill your tires. So, a lot of fun. Good racing this week. The heat. It's not a pack race. That's normally what we deal with here with the heat and the way the track is somewhat dynamic. Like the top has grip. It doesn't have necessarily the speed until you get late in a run, but you can move around, you can make speed and make passes. So I like it. A lot of fun.
Well, shout outs, man. You earned them. Stayed up there all day, but unfortunately just gas mileage race kind of decided it, but you were giving it all. So I know you got some people you want to thank.
I'll thank teammates, private label team hype. Was with Jacob, Sudik, and Hollaball on this one, just hanging out for, the fixed crowd. So thanks to them. Jacob obviously one up me on that one. Good for him.
We'll get him next.
Yeah. So he played the strategy right. I didn't. So, but I still got third. Happy with that. Thanks to you guys for broadcasting the races. Appreciate it. Probably won't be here next week. It's a road course, and I have a Coke race to go to, but see you in 2 weeks, I think, at Kansas.
All right, you got it, man. Jason Brophy finished third there. Let's bring up Jacob Oster. Jacob, how much was left in the tank, bud?
0.
Well, you played the strategy about as perfect as anyone else could, unless your name was Nelson Messias. Tell us about your race. I think we saw at least one moment with you. You probably had multiple. This is Dover. Go ahead. It's all yours.
Well, I had a problem with I had a commitment issue. I committed to the fuel save at first, and I committed, then I recommitted, then realized that I needed the clutch and coast, and was like, no one else can make it but me. I did not realize Nelson pitted on lap 30 until about 5 to go.
Oh.
And by that point, I could not. If I had been able to go full push, I could have, but I wasn't able to go full push until coming to the white flag. So it's just one of those unfortunate things. I finished race P2, got good points still. Saw the win in my grasp again, but I've had a good string of finishing first or second in every single SOF this season, so we're gonna see if we can put the fight to Rob and actually win this championship for once.
That's right. We're going to start bringing points into the broadcast starting next week. We're just kind of getting everyone back into their roles here of broadcasting these things again. But shout outs. I know you were working with some other drivers and you got teammates out there you want to thank. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I would like to thank Jace Brophy, Nick Sudik, and Matt Hallbaugh for all working together today. It was Matt's race didn't go out too well, but it was fun to watch Nick. Yeah, it was fun to watch Nick and Brophy kind of scoot away, and then me finish ahead of him after not pitting. Yeah, it's just it's actually a really fun combo. I was kind of surprised to think that, especially whenever we determined last week that this track is 30 degrees F higher track surface temp than what the set was originally built in last season. Probably just due to the season change over to 24 from 23. But we got pretty lucky again that it's still quite good, quite raceable, as Brophy and I proved last night in one race. And as you saw today, it's still a raceable combo, and it's actually really, really fun if you're going full push and not saving fuel, clutching and coasting in turn one.
All right. Well, congratulations on that P2. Definitely involved in this points championship. We got a couple of weeks to go. Next week's the oddball, the road course. Hopefully we'll see you there, and continuation on the march toward getting Robert in the points championship. Congratulations. We'll catch you next week, hopefully.
All right. Thank you, guys. I'll be there.
Well, fellas, again, who would have thought? We were talking coming into this thing about what type of complete disaster it could be. And just want to tell you the track temperature is 119. So there's the track temperature. That's one of the hottest that we've raced on all season. In fact, I think the hottest, it's like third or fourth hottest that I could think that we've ever covered. So there was really scorching. 77-degree ambient, so not too hot outside, but track temps were caking. But who would have thought we would have seen a fuel mileage race here, guys?
Yeah, it's pretty intriguing for sure. And in all fairness, it was fairly easy for that to come to pass, especially if there was an incident early on and everyone kept it clean here, and that's ultimately what we got. But it's still amazing that, especially since after that first incident, no one really got in over their heads here. They were trying to play it methodical. Some of them, as Jacob Oster suggested, like he was even surprised a little bit too, because he was committing then not committing a couple of times to a fuel safe strategy here. So that's kind of how surprising all of this was, and very well done for everyone keeping it clean tonight. Dover can be a massive handful, and I have a few horror stories, I'll say, about running Indy cars here at Dover. Even though it is a home track of mine, it's about an hour away from where I live. It's definitely a curious case as far as IndyCar goes, and these guys were able to, I guess they were able to satisfy that curiosity a good bit here. And these guys definitely show why they are some of the best on the service.
Justin, when was the last time we seen a NASCAR fuel mileage race here?
In my time in the NIS fix, there never really was a fuel mileage race.
I know.
But as far as real racing goes, I honestly can't remember.
Yeah,
I think it comes
down to a solid strength of field here. I mean, we had a 3.9 for this one, so I think it comes down to definitely the talent to a lot of these drivers. Well, next week is our oddball. It's Okayama, so we're going to go twisty and turny. Okayama always kind of reminds me of looking at it from above like it's someone's train set. It has all these switchbacks. It has all these changes in the altitude and everything. I think next week it'll be different. It'll be our only road course race of the season. But it'll be our last one before the series then moves to ovals full time from that point forward. So please join us. Don't miss it. Guys, thanks for joining us. We'll get on out of here and get everyone else the rest of their evening back here before I got stuff I need to do anyways. So let's do this.
Yeah. Totally.
You were talking about, you were mentioning Okayama as a train set. Yeah, there's a guy in this booth here that loves trains,
I know.
and
There's
he's
two of us,
right
but
next to me.
I know. So that's it for tonight. Your podium. Surprise winner Nelson the Gasman Messias. He must have had an extra half liter or something in his right leg or something that was feeding into that motor. But it got him to the win. Jacob Oster clutched and coasted with the best of them, but not enough to bring home the victory. P2 and Jason Brophy, he realized that it was going to be a fuel-saving race, and too late. He had to commit and came up just a little short. That is your podium. Join Steven, Justin, and myself again next week for round 10 of the Tuesday night IndyCar Oval Series top split of season 1 of 2024 as the series moves to its last road course race for the foreseeable future, Okayama. Coverage begins around 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 7:15 p.m. Eastern. Remember, it's a new time, new day this season, and you can find everything right here on YouTube at youtube.com/racefirst. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, but not easy and require time and money to produce. Because of your generosity and donations, we've been able to bring you IndyCar Oval action nearly commercial-free. If you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and enjoyed our coverage of the 4D RACEWEAR Tuesday night IndyCar Oval Series top split, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our 2024 broadcast fund. We do realize times are tough, so any contributions will be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and making us a part of your Tuesday evenings going forward each and every week this season. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support RaceVerse with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below to let us know what you thought of tonight's race, and if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, or while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so I'll miss out more of RaceVerse's other iRacing programming, including the second IndyCar Open Top Split broadcast. Find coverage of the IndyCar Open Strength of Field race on Saturdays at 1 p.m. as the series tackles Belle Isle this week. Also coming in February, the Dark Horse IndyCar Series kicks off their 7th season right here on RaceFirst from Fontana. And we have the start of the year, and pretty soon we'll have the start of the year-long battle of the IndyCar iRacing Tour. Well, we're going to see Justin in that. We'll see from Sebring and the return of the Formula Indy Series also later in March. Keep your browsers set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge in all of iRacing. RaceFirst, we know what Indy means. RaceFirst Tuesday night IndyCar Oval Series top split naming rates are paid for by 4D RACEWEAR. Check out their line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the description today. For business inquiries to learn more about RaceFirst and what we do, visit racefirst.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Let's get those Twitter handles right there on the bottom of the screen. Right there. And so I think that's it, guys. So for Stephen Larkamp, Justin Betschauer, everyone at RaceFirst, I'm Gary Gonzo saying all good night. Thanks for watching. And to all our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, God bless, Godspeed, and come home safe. Catch us again next week for round 10 at Okayama for the next race of the 4D RACEWEAR Tuesday night IndyCar Oval Series top split. Good night.